What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Trench Grenade channel. I'm your host, the average Sabre project enjoyer that your mom said that we have at home. Thanks for watching. Guys, as many of you know, about, let's say, a month or two ago, I'm not sure, we started the Sabre project, right? The Sabre 20-inch PSA Sabre 20-inch project, and today I'm just going to give you my final verdict on the project and if you should buy one or not. A controlled discussion in a controlled environment where you and I can sit and discuss things like adults about the reality of owning a Sabre and if it's right for you or if you should avoid it. Before I tell you that, I'm going to do the YouTube thing and shill for myself. Guys, if you want to support this channel and you want to replace all these that I used on this gun to tell you if it's good or bad, well, there's a bunch of ways you can do so. You can go down below right now and you can buy a bunch of these for yourself. You simply use the link below, buy a couple thousand of these bad boys, and it will help me reimburse or help me recoup the loss of using 3,500 of them for you. Right? Another way you can do it is join the Patreon. Thank you if you decide to do that, and I'll send you a link to the Discord server where you can stay up late and talk about your favorite distance to zero a rifle like this at. Okay, if you don't want to do all that, one more thing you could do is just simply hit the like button and let me know your thoughts based on my 3,500 round review of this Bad Larry. Let me know if you will be purchasing one or if you will be avoiding it like the plague, and I will read those comments, and I cannot wait to see all the people that either love PSA or hate them come out of nowhere. He said come. Okay, so let's talk about it. So we fired 3,500 rounds to, just to give everyone a very brief description of what we used here. Okay, we used two different types of magazines. We used Magpul Gen 3s, okay, PMag Gen 3s, and we used U.S. Army blue follower metal magazines, which are a vibe. Okay, this gun is empty. For the actual gun itself, let's talk about it. So as you guys know, the way this worked was I had a falling out with PSA there for a while, and I thought to myself one night a couple months ago, okay, well, what can we do? What can we do to give them a fair shake? That way, the guys that really, really like PSA can have an option if they decide to still buy one. And if they're committed to supporting PSA, then okay. And you may or may not find a link for them below. But that is, it did not impact the opinion of this video. As many of you guys know, I wanted this thing to fail. That is kind of why this whole project started, okay? So let's talk about the actual gun for those that are coming in, joining late, okay? A1 style buttstock. I wanted a A1 style stock just because we were going to run a 20-inch. I wanted it for the vibes. So A1 style stock. That what you see taped here is, so I'll kind of talk through this right here. So I have a piece of 550 cord that is tied off on the actual buttstock, and then I have my T-Rex arms sling that is tied off to that 550 cord, as you can see there. And then what we used to do back in the day in the Army, okay, in the infantry, is then just tape your sling in place with 100-mile-an-hour tape, like you can see here. That way it is attached to the 550 and then secured in place with the 100-mile-an-hour tape, duct tape. And then you know your sling is never coming off, because the actual sling point, in which PSA did a cool thing and they made this thing articulating, but I found that out after the fact. Back in the day, it used to be just like this on the bottom. We called it a casualty producer. So it was really annoying to mount your sling to the bottom of the gun like that, because it would pull the gun in a weird angle. When you were wearing it, it would pull the gun kind of in a really uncomfortable position, because this back part would be connected to the sling, so it would try to rotate the gun while you were wearing it on patrol, and it's really annoying. So what we did is just copied the Rangers back in like the Mogadishu days. This is what the Rangers used to do, and the infantry still does it to this day because it is effective and it works, right? So there you go. Moving up from there, a lot of guys are asking about this stupid red charging handle. No, it's not a Spikes or whatever. I got it in red on accident because I ordered it in a hurry from the PSA website, right? As you can see, it's a Radian Raptor. Boom. You guys can probably read that. If not, that's fine. But it's a Radiant Raptor and it's in red, and I just kind of kept it for the vibe, because I know a lot of guys, there's some sort of like cult hatred towards the red charging handles for the anodized thing. I get it, because there's a lot of cringe out there. Stop posting cringe in chat. There's a lot of cringe out there with the red anodized charging, or blue anodized stuff, or whatever. So I only kept it on there for kind of the meme, right? But I understand it looks funny, but it's staying on there until this gun dies. Moving forward from there, we have an ACOG. Of course, I wanted to give it the best sighting system opportunity possible, and this is my favorite optic because I've used one for 12 years now, professionally. Okay, RMR piggybacked on top of an ACOG TA31 with a green chevron. Okay, pretty legit setup there. Yeah. Moving forward, oh, it does have the Sabre trigger. Okay, let's make sure this battle area is clear. It does have the Sabre trigger in the gun. Okay, so it's a super freaking light trigger, right? I mean, it's kind of hard to show you, but it's insanely light, especially for a PSA. It's pretty legit. I guess it's their Sabre trigger. It's cool, dude. It works pretty well, to be honest. Okay, moving forward, we put this is like the most hate that I get on the build, is I took the stock bolt carrier group out of the gun, because I found out pretty quickly from my followers that the stock bolt carrier group would not run and would break very quickly after about 1,000 rounds or less. So what we did is we simply just did not even order. We didn't even order a bolt carrier group with the gun. We got a stripped upper, and then I went over to BCM and I bought a BCM bolt carrier group, because the BCM bolt carrier group will survive. And we knew that, and I wanted to give this a fair, I wanted to give you a build idea that would be duty rated if it survives. Does that make sense? So I wanted a BCM bolt carrier group, so that way you guys understood the importance. The guy watching this right now understands the importance of putting a better bolt carrier group in the gun and not keeping the PSA one, because the PSA one is not good. Okay, I'm trying to be as like honest with you guys like always as possible. The PSA one is just not, doesn't pass the sniff test. So put a BCM bolt carrier group. If you want to copy my build, put a BCM bolt carrier group in the gun, and you'll be better off for it. Moving forward from there, I elected to get a 20-inch rifle, 20-inch barrel rifle length gas system, because I wanted to give this thing the best opportunity at reliability and to be the softest on the internals, so that it would last the longest. Because the idea of this build was a budget gun, I think it came in, this whole build, the PSA stuff is about $1,000 plus the $250 bolt carrier group. So $1,000 plus the $250 bolt carrier group, plus another $1,400 to $1,500 for the ACOG, and then the Radiant I think is like $150. So someone do the math there. $1,000 for the gun, $1,000 for the gun, $50 to $60 for the sling, 14 or so hundred for the ACOG plus RMR, probably closer to 15, right? And then the Radiant Raptor, really good charging handle. Unfortunately, it's in red, but whatever, for about 150. And then, of course, getting ahead of myself here, the Surefire light with the vampire head. That way I can use it for night vision with my RMR. Okay, I can use it with night vision with my RMR and the Surefire, so that's pretty cool. Okay. So 3,500 rounds. My goal was to do 10,000. I don't make that kind of money, and I'm not going to burn through any more 5.56 for testing purposes, because this is getting too expensive for the income that we're making on the channel. Is not even going to be able to replace that 10,000 rounds in another year. Probably it'd probably take another year of filming to replace a total of 10,000. So I'm going to call it at 3,500 rounds with the Sabre. It's important to tell you guys, we were effective from 0 all the way out to 800 meters with this gun. Okay, we shot it on steel on multiple occasions. There's an hour video, kind of like the premiere video on this thing on the channel. There's an hour or more, hour and 15 minutes of shooting footage with this gun. And what I can tell you is, it's Christmas time. If you need a duty gun, fine, cool. You can probably be pretty well off with the PSA Sabre. I really like mine. You can ask Nighthawk. a lot of times this ends up being my home defense choice because it's just for the vibes, right? I did paint it, of course. Everything started in black, so I did paint it, and it ended up the way that you see now. Just some I have a video, I think I have a video on the channel of me painting this gun, so you can also check that out. But short of painting it, I kept everything else the same as it should be, other than that BCM bolt carrier group. And my advice to you would be, if you're in the market for a moderately priced, decent duty gun, I would recommend it. Okay, it had 0 malfunctions. It was accurate. Yes. Now, when I say 0 to 800, at 800, yes, you have misses because I shot only 55 grain through the gun, right? I think I shot green tip here and there, but mostly just this stuff, 55 grain FMJ. So yeah, it can hit out to 300 with 55 grain, but yes, or it can hit out to 800 with 55 grain, but you are gonna have misses, obviously, because holding with your ACOG, okay, you have to, so let's see, you got 6, 7, and 8. So the very bottom of the tree is 800 on your ACOG reticle, okay? So yeah, you're holding there, but then the windage is going to be different. So you might be holding right edge, left edge, etc., because of windage, and yeah, but it is possible. This 20-inch PSA Sabre is a 0 to 800 meter gun. Now, the effective is around 600, right? To like actually be able to get a minute of man hit is 0 to 6, right? 500 is easy. 600 starts to get a little bit wild. 700 gets way wild. 800 gets really, really, really wild. But after a few rounds, you know, 5 to 10 rounds, you can get a hit at 800. It is possible, right? But keep in mind, it's still 5.56. It's not a laser beam, right? But if you need something from 0 to 5, dude, 0 to 5, this thing is good all day long. 0 to 6, still good. Just gonna have a couple misses there. And then 0 to 7 and 0 to 8, you're gonna start getting some a pretty good dispersion, just due to it being still, it's a 5.56, so you're gonna start getting some dispersion with the rounds at those longer engagement distances. But it's doable. It's way better than your 11.5, 12.5, right? Because of that 20-inch system, or 20-inch barrel, right, with the rifle length gas system and the ACOG. It's a good setup. It's lightweight, and yeah, I like it. If you're in the market for a more serious gun, but you don't want to go all the way on a Daniel Defense, okay, that's fine. If you don't want to go all the way on a Daniel Defense, and I own several Daniel Defenses, allegedly, but if you want something that's going to be effective, reliable, this is a good build. Okay, Surefire Light, ACOG, Trijicon ACOG, RMR. I mean, everything on the gun is something I would trust if I had to go to war with it tomorrow, thus far, right? 3,500 rounds. I would call that a serious amount of rounds for most of you watching this, because most of you watching this will never put more than, I would say, 500 rounds through the gun anyway. So if that's you, and you know that's you, and you know you're only going to shoot it 100 rounds every... If you know you're only going to shoot 100 rounds every couple months, and then maybe over the course of a year, you shoot 1,000 rounds over the course of a year, dude, like this build, this type of setup is going to be just fine for you for your use case. But that is my experience. I'm calling it on the PSA Sabre project. 3,500 rounds fired through the gun, no issues, and honestly, if it's your vibe and you like the vibe check, it passes the sniff test and the vibe check for you, then yeah, go get one. Okay, thanks for being here, guys. If you got this far, let me know your thoughts on this PSA Sabre project. I had fun doing it, but like I said, I'm not gonna invest any more money into this because it's starting to get a little bit ridiculous with the ammo prices the way they are now. 45 to 55 cents a round, right, for 5.56 223. So if you want to support the channel, join the Patreon. Thank you for to my current Patreon members. Thank you for your support. I'll see you in the Discord server. Thank you guys for being here. Have a good rest of your Veterans Day weekend. And until next time, it's going to be Trench Grenade, your average PSA Sabre 20-inch rifle enjoyer. Surprisingly, that your mom says we have at home, signing out. Cheers.